Hello, I'm Professor Akram Taghavi-Burris, and we're continuing our lesson on building a blog in WordPress.com. We've already registered and set up our blog in the last video, and in this one we're going to go in and edit our very first post and our very first page, both of which are already generically generated when we registered our blog. So we want to go in and personalize that, as well as setting up some basic settings in our blog. There are two ways at this point, after you've registered and everything, to actually access your blog and edit it. The first one is to go to WordPress.com. So on the WordPress.com homepage, up at the very top, you can choose to type in your username and password. Then one of the things it asks up here is whether or not you want to remember your username password, and it's very important if you are on a public computer to have that unchecked because you don't want to share your personal information with that system. Then you can press login. Once you've logged in, you will get these set of tabs that appear, different options you have inside WordPress. Typically, it'll show you the last tab you were on. And in my case, the last tab I had selected was the My Blog tab, which is really where we want to keep our focus when editing our blog. You'll notice that it shows the blog that we've set up, and it has an option to create a new blog. WordPress.com allows users to create multiple blogs, so there are options there to create another blog for your own personal use if you wanted to. For us, however, we want to actually go into the blog that we've created and edit it. Now, if I click on my username right here, that'll actually open up the blog itself, but we want to go to the back end so we can edit it. And to do that, we can click on the dashboard button here. And this allows us to log in and edit it from here. This is one way to access the editing portion of your blog. The other way is by actually going to your blog. So we'll take a look at that now. If you remember, your blog address is your first initial last name, and it may vary depending on how you registered, but then it would be .wordpress.com. So you just type your username, .wordpress.com, and it'll take you to your blog. Now on your blog we'll have a sidebar, especially if you started with the default theme. Now if you chose a different theme up front, your sidebar may be in a different location, but somewhere on the page we'll have a login button, and that is the button that you'll want to log into, and it'll take you to a new screen where you can type again your username and password, and then log in, and it takes you to your dashboard here. So you can go directly to your blog, to your dashboard, or you can go to WordPress.com and go to your dashboard from there. So you have two different options. Again, sometimes your browser will ask if you want to save your passwords. If you are on a public computer, you want to make sure to have never selected for that. We took a look at the dashboard the other day a little bit, but now we're going to get a little bit more in depth in here as to the different things that we want to set up. We've registered the blog, we have it all down, but there are certain settings that we want to set up. The first thing is, if you go to the dashboard, on the left side of the screen at the very bottom are the settings. So we'll click on settings, and there are a list of all these different little things that you can change. The very first one is general settings, and in general settings it has the title for your site, and more than likely you don't want to just leave it your first initial last name. You'll want to make it a nice title. In this case I'm just going to do Akram's WordPress blog. The tagline is sort of a quick phrase or two that allows people to get a little bit better understanding of what type of site this is going to be. And in this case, the generic one is that it is a WordPress blog. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and explain that it's related to this lesson. So again, it wants to check for your email address. If it's correct, you can make sure that you have the right one typed in there. It'll ask you what the time is for your area. Then the date format that you want to display. You can have it display in numbers or display in month, and title, and then the date and year. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a default for right now. The default way you want the time to appear, I think I'm going to want the PM to be capital, PM AM capital. The day of the week in which the day starts, we'll stick with Monday for right now. Again, all of these settings can be customized by you. And then of course the language, which asked us when we registered. So I'll do a save. Under writing, we have a couple of other things here. We can specify the size of the box when we go to type in our posts. The box always gets larger, but this is just a default size and it's set to 20. It asks if you want to convert emoji icons into actual graphic symbols, and it'll do that for you automatically if you have that checked. If you want to set up a default category for your post, right now it's set to uncategorized. We don't have any categories, so we're just going to leave that as that. And then the format is going to be standard, and the default links will be in the blog role. And you've got a couple of other options under the default post. You can set it in standard, aside, link, gallery, status, quote, image. So everything here we're just going to kind of leave default, and then we're going to do save. Some things related to reading. We can specify how you want people to view your page. Most of the time on a blog, you're going to have the latest posts show up and then all the other posts chronologically after that. However, if you wanted to do some sort of custom generic home page at the first and then have a separate page that you'll put your blog on, you can do that. For the purposes of our class, we want to have the post on the home page so it'll be easy to access and identify where it is. The links to different posts, you can identify how many you want to show on the home page, and in this case I want to show just 10 at a time. And again, a lot of this can just be set to default, so I'll just leave that default. And again, there's a whole array of settings that you can go through. Those are just the first two. Most of the default settings will work for our purposes. Nothing that we really need to change up front. Now, when we first registered our WordPress blog, by default the blog starts off with a generic page and a generic post, and we can edit those. First, let's go back and examine what those post and page look like. To actually view your blog from the dashboard, you can always go up to the admin panel up at the very top and just click on your name, and it'll take you to your blog. Now, we're still actually logged in to the website so that we can get to the dashboard at any point in time and make changes. When you set up a WordPress blog, it will automatically create this Hello World post, just a generic post giving you some idea of what it would look like. Now, the way WordPress blogs, and the majority of blogs work, is that it usually shows you a snippet of the post so many characters long, and you would click on the title of the post or the read more link to get to the full post. The generic post that it creates is relatively short, so it actually shows the whole thing. If I did go to it though, if I click on the title, it will take me to the post page. So on the post page, it will actually show me the whole post plus any comment that users may have made. Now you'll notice that it also comes with a generic comment, just again showing you an example of how this post works. Other features that are displayed are things like the ability to share this post with others or to like this post, and again to reply to the post or to the commenter. We're going to edit the post and get rid of this little comment here through our back end. Now, to edit our post, we can do this a couple of different ways. If you already have a post published to your blog, whenever you go to view it and you're logged in, up at the very top by the title, you'll see an edit button. And from there we can go into editing mode and make changes, or we can go back to the dashboard. I'm going to go back to the dashboard just so you can see the location of where to create new posts, edit posts, and so forth and so forth. And to get to the dashboard, there's a couple of different ways. You can go back to the home page and click on your sidebar link, or once you're logged in to WordPress, you can always access the dashboard from the admin button by clicking on your blog title there and choosing dashboard. This takes us back to the dashboard. From there we can go to the Post tab and you'll see a layout of menu options. If we just click on Post, it'll take us to the All Post lists, and from there we'll see the post and any and all posts that we have in our blog. We just have the one right now. And we can go in and edit these. We can do a couple of different things. If you mouse over the title, you'll see there's an edit, quick edit, trash, and view. The quick edit allows us from this screen to make a couple of changes, like the title or even the category in which the post was created for. Now, if I go to edit, this will actually let us edit the content within the post, and that is exactly what we want to do.